against me as the Eternal Cowboy. I can tell you exactly what I was doing when I heard this album for the first time. I was sitting on a chair in a dining room. My friend was lifting weights, and I was looking in a mirror drinking Boone's Farm wine. I was smoking a cigarette, and this hot, like, scene chick came in and was like, hey guys, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, hey, I got this new CD. You want to hear it? And I was like, sure. And she played it, and I was like, what is this? And she's like, oh, it's Against Me. You never heard of them? And I was like, no, I haven't. And don't act like you knew them for 3 years either. You just heard about this band too. Like, I can tell by like what you did. And I was like, so what is it again? And so the album is Against Me as Eternal Cowboy. It's 11 songs. It's 25 minutes. It's one of the few bands that when I heard it, two things happened. I knew I loved them immediately. Like I could, like I was confused by it, but I had that feeling that I had when I heard Rancid. And it's another one of those bands that when I heard it, I knew no other band on the planet can mimic this. Like there is no other band that can sound like Against Me, because the vocalist is on a different level.
Carries every song. Every song.
My goodness, can that person sing? And it's also my first interaction with like a trans person.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first person I ever knew. Like it blew me away when I found out about that. Like I didn't know how to take it, bro. Like honestly, it kind of like it fucked me up a little bit. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, what in the world? Like it's become a thing that people do and are or whatever now. But bro, when that happened, when Tom Gable became Laura Jane Grace, I'm telling you, dude, it sent shockwaves through the punk rock community. And it's been some years now. I mean, she's got her own albums out. They tour. The last like 3 or 4 albums have been with her singing.
I should be in town next month over here. I'm trying to finagle my way to that one. Got some double bookings that night, but I'm trying to get to that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember whenever she was still Tom and I sat next to him at a show. It was the same show where I traded Ben Nichols hats and I got my hair cut next to him. And I was like looking and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, hey dude, what's up? Hey man, what's going on? We just chit chatted for a minute. I mean, 2-minute little conversation. Very nice, very, very humble, chill, quiet. But dude, if you haven't heard Against Me, anybody that's watching this, first off, I'd be a little surprised that you're watching it, especially if it's the clip. But go listen to them and listen to this person sing and tell me that you can't feel the pain in their voice, that you can't feel the desire for change, just those two things right there are so apparent in her voice. It might be like my top 3 vocalists of all time. That might be on there. I don't know how else to explain it. There's a sound that they create that nobody else has been able to replicate. And I don't know that anybody has the courage to try. Because boy, I'm telling you, to go out there and go, I'm going to try to copy Against Me. It's like, good luck. They've got like 4 albums that are certified classics, my guy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they're damn near like, they're like Rancid level. Like, they're like, bro, their albums have hit me in a spot that's hard to even talk about. I don't really know how to describe it. Anyways, I assume you've heard this album, right?
Yeah. I never owned it. And then so whenever you texted to me, I wasn't sure which one it was, that kind of thing. And then the first one that rang a bell was Sink Florida Sink. And I was like, okay, I know that one. And then it started to feel like, okay, I've listened to this. And then that was my exact thought. Because I listened to a lot of Against Me. One of my favorite songs ever that came out a few years later, the Teenage Anarchist. I love that song. To me, like when I think about like how fake ass my punk rock childhood was, I was like, oh, that described it. Right.
That's my least favorite song of theirs.
Perfect.
Of course, perfect. Right? Of course. I mean, of course it is. Because I'm a stupid idiot. But
the whole thing about her, the voice is another.
Oh my goodness, dude!
In a way where it's hard to explain what you mean by that, because there's some punk rock singers that have like extravagant voices, or like you're talking about Dead Kennedy's like Jello's voice that's
all but that's like grating and annoying. But like
this is like another guitar. This is like something that's in the mix. It's weird.
Okay. It reminds me of I get the same feeling as when Lars belt something out. Like he's got a very distinct voice, dude. He has like that, that he can do like something that sounds really good, but it's still punk rock. Like it's still gravelly. That's what she's got. The same like gravelly talent. Like she's got talent. That Lars has got talent that you can't practice it. You're just born with it.
You can convey everything you need to convey about the songs sitting there with an acoustic guitar because that voice is so strong. You doesn't even really need a band behind it.
You're not going to even believe this, dude. When I first saw them play, first off, I had barely heard this record, and they were so poor that they were in like a hatchback, and they had like, I don't know if it wasn't play school instruments, but it was damn near close. They did this like $20 acoustic guitar, this little like 3-piece drum kit that was like probably $50, and they were just beating the shit out of their instruments and singing, and there was no microphone. There might have been a microphone. That was about it, bro. It was like it was nothing else, man. It was like this little house show, and they didn't have any merch. They might have had a couple of albums or something, maybe a couple of hand-painted shirts or something, but it was like, if you got there in time, you got some gear. I didn't get anything. I was like right on time for the show. Everything was bought up. And they had like, just a little small, I don't even know what label they were on. I don't know what made them have to tour like that. I don't know if there was like an accident in transit somewhere, but
no, I think they were like not even really a band at that. Like they were, but
is that what it was?
Weren't. Yeah. Cause I think even that first album, I want to say like the personnel on it or something might be huge. I think a lot of people actually played on it because they were just kind of, they I don't think they really had their shit together until like
is that Reinventing Axl Rose.
Axl Rose, yeah,
because like what a great name. Like first off, their names for their albums are ridiculous. Like Reinventing Axl Rose, top tier name. As the Eternal Cowboy, like what does that even mean? It's amazing though. But like, oh dude, like two of my absolute favorite.
So Searching for Former Clarity, is that a song or is that an album?
It's an album, dude. It's like one of my favorite albums of all time. Yeah, dude. And then they have New Wave, which has probably one of the greatest songs ever written on it in Thrash Unreal. That song will make me jump around and crowd surf, and it'll make me ball up on the floor and cry. Oh, dude, like I was a heroin addict for years, dude. That song will hit me in a place that very few songs do. I don't even know of Rancid songs that make me feel like this one does, man. And so this record though is special, man. It's my first introduction to that band. I didn't know who they were with Reinventing Axl Rose. I had to go back and find that. But this started me down a path of different kind of punk rock. When I heard this, I knew it was okay to like a different kind of punk. I knew that punk just wasn't street punk anymore. I knew that it wasn't just Ramones core, that punk rock was a different kind of thing. And with this particular album, it literally was like a detour. So I wasn't like at a crossroads. I was just going a direction. And instead of going this way, I just went boop. And then I ended up at the same place later. But like I got to things like, yeah, man, I don't really know how to explain it, man. It took me into a different journey. I was in a different place with this record, and they talked about things that not a lot of people were talking about in real punk bands. Like they got real emotional. It was like emo, but like for like punk rock kids. Like it was like, it wasn't swoopy hair seeing kids and like, for lack of a better word, pussies. It was like tough kids that were like dealing with some shit and like dark lyrics, man. Like real and like some political stuff going on, and like, I mean, they stand for a lot, dude. Against Me is no joke, man. Yeah, that's about the end of my spiel, bro.
Authentic. That's what I would just say about that. Like
very,
extremely.
Very.
And I think that if there is one defining sentiment of punk rock that kind of links it all together, when you know it, you can feel it, and it's that authenticity, and they have that in spades.
Yeah, man. I mean, I heard that record, and honestly, I didn't know what to think about it at first, but I knew I loved it, and I didn't know if anybody else was going to like it. And so when I found out that other people that I knew liked it, we all kind of like, oh, you like Against Me? Oh, I like Against Me. And then all of a sudden, there was like other bands trying to copy them and like do this like acoustic-y, screamy, yelly.
Not as good as they.
Oh no, dude, no, like not even close. And when I saw Tom Gable, it was on that tour with the singer of Hot Water Music and Kevin Seconds and
Chuck Reagan. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
No, I remember you telling me the story last week about.
Okay, so, oh shit, dude, my memory's terrible, bro. But yes, it was that's the tour.
Yeah.
That I saw them on. So like, I saw Against Me twice. once was real early when I saw it when this record happened, and then once was like years later that I was like, oh shit, Against Me's coming back. I don't know if they came back in between or not, but I saw them twice, and once was like at the beginning, and once was when they were like a fully formed band. I've never seen them with Laura Jane Grace. I would love to see what that's like. Did that affect you at all whenever Laura Jane came out as Laura Jane? It really affected me a lot.
Well, because I heard about it through like a mainstream media outlet, and I was like, it was one of those things. Like I know that. Where do I know that from? And then I snapped to it. I guess it kind of didn't. It was at like 2012, 2013, right around there. I remember it being a big deal. I just wasn't very focused on it. Kind of, I really wasn't listening to a lot of punk. That was that era where I wasn't listening to a lot of it. So it just kind of like, oh, that's interesting to know, and then kind of.
Man, it was like. I think that was a crossroads for me. I think that was a crossroads because I was like, all right, what kind of person am I going to be? And I know that this might sound dramatic, but this is really what happened. I was like, all right, man, am I going to be a kind of person that's an asshole because I don't understand something? Or am I going to go ahead? Because I mean, look, dude, the punk rockers from my generation don't necessarily like that shit.
Yeah.
We were very accepting when we were in our 20s, but we're still accepting of things that happened in our 20s. We are now older, and so we're not the same people that we like to think that we are sometimes. And you have to be able to admit that. It's tough to swallow that pill, but I remember telling my wife about it and being like, man, I know you don't know who this is, but this person used to be this dude, and now they're this person. And I was like, what is going on? And I was like, what? And then I felt like I got emotional about it, and I was like, man, I felt bad for questioning anything. Like I was like, why would I even give a shit other than to support, right? And then I felt really, really bad, and then it like led me down to where I like Googled a bunch of stuff and was like reading up on it and like trying to figure out what was going on. And honestly, I think that her doing that probably helped me become part of who I am right now. Because I've got a lot of friends in that community, and I'm way more open to that stuff than people that I know would think I am. And it's because I don't really understand being a judgmental person. I don't really get it. I've been treated like shit my whole life, so why would I do that to somebody? I just don't think it's worth being judgmental about. Yeah, I just don't understand being so uptight, I guess. But yeah, it was really it's a big deal to me. It's a big thing for that to have happened.
Well, it kind of what they say when it normalizes something, because it's an entity that you already had, like, even from a distance, a relationship with, right? So a part of your world. So then again, it normally like, oh no, that's just life and how it plays out. And her book, I've never sat down and read it, because when I want to read, I don't want to do it for content. I don't want to do it for anything like that. I just want to read it and get the fills off of it, kind of, as you're saying. And it's one of those that it's I know it's an undertaking that I want to undertake, just because I can't think of a punk rock book that's probably not really about punk rock, but could not be more insightful than that book.
Yeah. Have you read the NoFX book? That one. Yeah. I love that book. Like I love that book. I love that book probably more than like the band. It helped me get through some personal stuff, man. Like, whew, man, hearing Mike talk about all these things that he was like into and interested in, and just saying it in front of people, and not being like, oh well, it's in a book now. It helped me just be like more comfortable in my own skin. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything sexual. It just means like, just in general, like I was like, oh man, I can just I don't know, man. I owe these people a lot, man. All these guys, Mike, Laura, Tim Armstrong, Lars Fredrickson, all these people, I owe them so much. I think I would probably be a shitty dude if it wasn't for those guys, because the people that I looked up to just so happen to be great people. And I'm pretty fortunate. And that I will end the Against Me talk, unless you have anything else to add for Against Me.
No, yeah. I think that would probably be a great segue then into my, I guess, number 2 album, or the